Hello and welcome to the Blue Tweezer channel with myself, Alan, from the channel, of course. And we've got a little bit of a chat going this evening. And yeah, just wanted to catch up with everybody. And I see Jess is already in the house, early as usual. Good to see you. Yeah, the show is now on the road. And yeah, hopefully, Kyle. Hi, Kyle. Thanks for joining. Won't keep you too long. I'm not going to just blurb about just about anything, but yeah, just a few interesting things and just catching up really for everybody. So right, let me just send off some calls for Twitterati reinforcements around the net, if I may. That should do it. But of course, got a few in already. Crossing obstacles. Hello. Hi. And yeah, I probably saw you all at the War Room yesterday, last night with Jester, Ruff, and with Mo as well, from Mo's Gaming Table. Yep. Good to see him. Always find it tricky to catch up with his Whiskey Charlie stuff because it's in the wee small hours over here, so it's a bit tricky to do that, to watch that live and get involved. But there you go. But it's good to see him actually live for a change. Jester definitely is here. Evening, Jester. Thank you, and Mike. Oh, a bit of gaming, royalty. Shall we say royalty, or maybe at least aristocracy? I think we'll go with aristocracy. I think. Okay, Mike too much of a big head. And of course we're coming up to Christmas. Of course, I hope everybody's put in their Santa list, and hopefully it's all gaming stuff. Probably not, but you know, it's hoping. I haven't sorted mine out. I'm been all over the place. Last month, it's been a bit tricky. A lot of work, not gaming, going on, and trying to fix on that really. But here's a hope it might slow down for Christmas. You never know. Still, so the one big thing that Mike says no in caps. Oh my god, I've been shouted at already. So yeah, so the big gaming thing that happened to me, of course, was that I actually went to a convention, although convention's probably a little bit too big a word for it. It was a gathering called RavenCon at a place called the Raven Hotel in a place called Hook in Hampshire, which is probably about 20 minutes from me. And it's run by a friend of mine, I've known for a long time, a guy called Chris Yates, who has a YouTube channel, so go and have a look at it. He waxes lyrical about quite a few war games. He's quite in depth, and really does some really good analysis and stuff. But yeah, he was setting it up, and Mike says, "Where are all the guests? We don't. The guests are the chat. You're the guests." So you go. Yeah, we don't need to. And Tony's around. Tony, hey. Hello. Missed you yesterday, of course, from the War Room, but still, you know, it was a good evening. I think. Was it the best of wargaming? I think they were talking about. Kyle, got yourself Undaunted Normandy, Africa, and the Solo Reinforcements. Wow. Okay. So yeah, I haven't invested in that game. I must admit, I really don't like the artwork on it. This sort of cartoony kind of thing doesn't work for me. Really puts me off. It's probably an excellent game, but just just not for me with that artwork. Probably works for everybody else, but I don't know what's wrong with me, but it just doesn't come across for me at all. It's too cartoony. Also, the YouTube channel I talked about was it's actually called Chris Yates. So Chris Chris, and Yates Yates. So it's just his name. He's got a little channel. He's got a couple of hundred subscribers, but please do go and have a look because he's got some interesting stuff to say. Actually, I always have very interesting conversations with him on games. And so yeah, but Undaunted Normandy, Carl Gray, and so oh, Tony's in and out. He's back to the family. Okay, that's fair enough. Panzer Grenadier. It's another one that I've kind of missed, I suppose. It's yeah, don't actually do a lot of tactical myself, and was into squad leader when I was young. Moved across to ASL for a time, and then kind of lost the sort of tactical thing. So when things like Panzer Grenadier came out, I kind of just left it behind. So I've never ever got into it. I know Ruff, and I think Jester like it a lot. So yeah, go, have at it. Let us know how it goes. Anyway. Anyway, back to yeah. I wanted to give you a little report about RavenCon. So there was only 12 of us. We could only actually get a small room at the hotel at the time, so that's why it was restricted to 12 guys. I've gamed with them before. It's a bigger group, but only 12 of us were able to first 12 through the door. Well, who were in the WhatsApp group said put their hands up, kind of thing. So we all met up there, and a few from around the country as well. It's not just local guys. And I only see these guys from things like RavenCon. As luck would have it, when we got there, when Chris got there, he learned that actually we could have the big room. So if you've seen the updates, the live updates, the inexpert camera work and fumbling around and stuff like that, if you can get past that and see what's going on, you can see it's actually quite a big room, of which there's only a few people rattling around in the midst of it. So as it happens, we could have had more people, but we didn't know until the day. So actually, it was easy to get. We weren't all crammed in. We thought we were going to be like sardines, but we weren't. And Dick, hi, good job. Well, I'm not sure how much of a good job it was, but yeah, it's yeah, it was 3 days, and so the first game I got involved with was a game called Crisis. So there wasn't a lot of wargaming going on. There was a game of No Retreat at the Russian Front, and there was also a Dark Summer. I think it's the Ted Racer Dark series, and it was the Normandy one. I think I showed it on the updates. Those were the two which you would have called war games that happened. There was a few games of Quartermaster General as well that were played as well, but I wasn't in any of those. First thing I played was Crisis, which was about a sort of an economy which could go good or bad, and it went bad for us. It didn't. I was doing. You effectively invest in factories or farms or stuff like that, and you employ people to work them. So it's kind of worker placement kind of game, and so I think I was doing quite well. But it was combined. You could lose the game as a combination of players, and one of the guys had done some very heavy investment, and wasn't producing anything, and he just tanked the economy, and the rest of us couldn't keep it afloat. So it didn't last long. It actually was quite a good system, but I must admit the board was terrible. It was worker placement, so you're putting a worker on a particular spot, and with the exception of a couple, it was one spot. So you got a particular action because you put your worker on that spot. But the board was so busy, and lots of icons all over the place. And then on the background, it had a kind of grey, greyish, I suppose, cityscape in the background. But the boxes were grey as well. So you've got these brightly coloured icons, and then small grey boxes, and then this background which was grey, and it was difficult to see what was a box and what wasn't. There were some bits of the background which looked like a box, but they weren't. So it kind of failed for me. It was a quite good system, but the board was just awful. I just couldn't get on with it. Yeah, that's what I did. That was the Thursday evening that I played that. I actually got a couple of games of Versailles 1919 in. One of which I came equal second at, as I played the Italians every time. I seem to be an expert at playing the Italians. I think the French won the first time by 5 points, and I drew with the British, I think it was. 43 points I think I got. I got a couple of interesting manipulations in to try and get cards and things like that. So, but it wasn't to be. And in the second game, I actually drew for first place. However, there's a count. There's not a count back, but there's a tie break. There's two tie breaks, and I was still equal on the first tie break. The second tie break was actually the number of issues you'd won, and the British player had one more than I had, so they won. Even though I thought I'd done enough to win actually. If you know the game and if you follow the For YouTubers version we're doing, you've got the strategy cards, and I stuck very well to the strategy. It was a very easy strategy card, and I got a lot of points out of it. Not so much points out of the cards, which means I didn't win, but there you go. So played it twice, came second twice. There you go. I actually got a game of Storm Above the Reich in. Now, that's a solo game, but you can play it cooperatively, and me and another guy. I introduced him to the game, went through, and we were abysmal at that. We tried to do a 1942 campaign. We got 6 missions. We got through 5. We had 2 victory points, and you need 11 not to lose on the 6th mission. And it's you can imagine getting 2 victory points for 5. The last one getting another 9 wasn't going to happen. So we packed it up. We did really bad. Didn't actually lose a man, but we just shot nothing down. We just had a terrible time. Rolled very low on tactical points and also turn limit, and and not very good on the. Every time I got my main stack of came through on Storm of the Right, you have the vectoring, which is the approach stuff. Every time I got through that and I got my main stack, put it on the board, immediately jumped on by escort, and just couldn't get anywhere. It was terrible. But that was cool. So that's what I did, except for one game which I played twice, and I thought was really, really excellent. It's one I'd probably recommend. It's called Black Orchestra. So this is a game about assassinating Hitler. So you actually start early on in the 30s, and you represent a particular person, a personage, either a general or maybe a diplomat or a spy or something like that. And collectively, you're trying to create a situation where you can create a plot that will kill Hitler, and then you've got to manipulate things so that will happen. The resources and the timing is such as there that it will actually work. We had 2 games. We both got Hitler around the sort of 1944 mark. It's not actually timed. It's just 7 decks of cards, and I think we're in deck 6 out. 7 was the end of the game. We actually got there, but the second game I spent most of the time trying to assassinate him as a sniper, and I just couldn't get near him. It's on dice rolls, and I couldn't get the number of dice necessary for it to actually succeed. But that's a really cool game. Not a war game per se. Again, it's kind of Euro-ish, but there's a lot to it, and the cards are interesting, and you can get arrested and tortured and interrogated by the Gestapo and everything. So there's a modicum of threat going on. So I would look that up if you're looking for some kind of Christmas inspiration. Black Orchestra, highly recommend. It's a really, really good game. Other than that, it was just great to actually get hold of other people in the flesh, kind of just talk to them, catch up with everybody, and do some face-to-face. It's always great on backwards and forwards over Vassal, Discord, YouTube, etc. But actually physically be in the same place and actually touch the components and play against other people and with other people. It's kind of unbeatable. So that was RavenCon. So and I hope you were able to tune in on those impromptu updates. And if not, just have a quick look at them. They're on the channel. But it was great. It was a great time, I think, we had by all, and there'll probably be a couple of those happening next year. So and they'll be bigger as well, and maybe the reports will be a little bit more coherent. One thing I was doing on that, I was testing a 4G router to do the live streams through, and it just wouldn't work. So probably half of the first day I was fighting with this router rather than actually playing games. But there you go. Yeah, we all, on the COVID side, we all committed to having a lateral flow test done before we turned up, and I haven't heard of anybody coming down with anything, so I think it was fairly safe. Yeah, and a lot of people have had the vaccination here in this country anyway, but we've got the new variant and whatever going on. But yeah, we survived that, and we all had a good time. So that's Patrick. Hi, good to see you. And what else have we been doing? So just a few other bits and pieces to talk about, I suppose. One was I think it was the last chat I showed you my haul from MMP, and with MMP game, one of the games I got, and in fact the game that qualified me for them to ship all of the other games, was the TCS Tactical Combat Series game GD42, which came in a bag, not in a box. And so I've been fiddling with that, and I've been looking through a scenario, which see if I can bring up on the screen. Where are we? If I just turn myself off for the moment. No, that doesn't work. There we go. Wonderful. So, yeah, this is the Vassal representation of it. So, GD42. This is about a Russian attack, and Groß Deutschland is the defender in this instance. This scenario doesn't have any of Groß Deutschland. They were kind of north. If I zoom out the map, which is a very nice map. So it's the Luchesa Valley, I think. Sort of Moscow is off to the right, Smolensk to the left, I think. And this was a counterattack, winter counterattack by the Soviets, which actually goes left to right, if you like, towards Moscow, because the Russians had sort of curled round the Germans and took them from the rear. It was unsuccessful. The Russians didn't. They were trying to create a pocket and they failed. So Groß Deutschland is kind of in the sort of around the area around the river. If you can see the river there. But this is a scenario which is on the flank really. I started small. This is a pretty small one, and let's just zoom in here. And so it's a Soviet. Running on the board, you see this sort of entry area here with the red double-headed arrow line here. Is where they come in. One starts just on the board, the other one sort of streams on. One thing about TCS is there's a lot of opportunity fire, which they call it Overwatch fire. So you end up with casualties and you get morale states suppressed or paralysed. I'm in the Soviet second turn here, and as you can see in the German turn, they fired everything they had. They've caused a few casualties, you can see, and casualties. Infantry units have 5 steps, so 1 or 2 steps is not halfway. But those steps also add to their morale factor. The morale factor is actually the bottom right hand corner. So that's now has a morale of 5, and the higher it is, the worse table you roll on. So as they get more and more damage, they are less likely to do things. So the idea is this is a part of a mech brigade. It's a motorised regiment with some T-70 support. Let me zoom in a bit better so you can see the units. Whoops. There we go. So we've got some T-70s there. The red 4 is the number of tanks, so that's 4 T-70s there. There's some more T-70s here. There's some 5 there, and they're trying to take this village. That's the objective. This other motorised regiment here is actually supported by some T-34s. Again, these big pack of T-34s here, and they're trying to sweep around and cut off any reinforcements. And these are reinforcements here. There's another battalion here of Germans able to come in, and some artillery support as well back here. But it's a very small scenario. Literally, the village is the thing to fight for. Whoever has the most of the village wins the game, kind of thing. So we're fairly early on, but I like the TCS system. It's quite cool, and yeah, that's what's on there. Emin, you've got Africa, so that's SCS, is it? I don't have any SES stuff, and Smolensk, that's OCS, I think, as well, isn't it? So okay, so you're stocking up there on MMP stuff. So they do good stuff, certainly. And of course, if you've been following the old Panzer's Last Stand scenario, I just put up another video a little bit earlier, going through it slowly. That was an interesting video there, because with that activation for that infantry division, I was trying not to annoy one of the Soviet divisions, so that they don't get a turn, they don't get an activation. So I was sort of tiptoeing through and trying to hit other units of the other formation instead, which I kind of succeeded in doing. But it seemed a bit odd that I was trying not to actually attack the most of the line in front of me, or most of the Soviet units in front of me. Anyway, so that's GD 42, all well and good. And the other thing is I actually got a game came in the post this week, which is probably a bit obscure. It was actually on a Kickstarter. It's not traditionally. It's actually from, I think it's a Polish game, and this is it. Hopefully you guys can see it. Let me make sure that, let's turn off the display, put the camera back. There we go. So it is 303 Squadron. It's by Hobbity.eu. So it's a Polish game, and it's based on the 303 Squadron in the Battle of Britain, which was the Polish squadron. Which I don't know if you know the film Battle of Britain. They're in there. They're on a training flight, and all the Poles decide to just attack the Germans they see and become operational. And actually, 303 Squadron was the most successful Hurricane Squadron, I think, in the Battle of Britain, and yeah, a very good work. So, as I say, that's the front. It's a guy called Mikhail Koman is the designer. Very pretty box. There's the back, and effectively you're playing one of the 303 Squadron pilots. It's a solo, can be cooperative, and the sort of Germans are in the game. So let's have a look at what we have here. So, as it's a European game, the one thing you do get here is it's all a bit multilingual. So we have a rule book here. That's in English, and I think, I'm not sure, there is another rule book here. Very nice pages, full colour. The reds are red bits are examples and explanations. Some good stuff all here. I'll look through some of the other stuff. I have taken the shrink wrap off, or certainly off the bottom, and had a rifle through, but not beyond there. There was something called the compendium, which I think is kind of a playbook here, and that's got all the scenarios. So there are. It talks about the units, also about the individual pilots, which you can play. The individual aircraft as well, and the particular scenarios. So the scenarios are represented by a card here. So you've got the training scenario, airfield scenario, attack on Biggin Hill, and the Blitz. And there's quite a few of them. There's I've gone a few pages forward, and there's still some more. So lots of scenarios here to play with. Well, I think it's 1 to 4 players. Let me just check that I'm telling the truth here. Yeah, 1 to 4. 14 and up. It's supposed to take an hour, the game. So that's more traditional, but here we go. We have another compendium, but this is in this, I think, is in Spanish, and we have a rule book here, Reglamento. So that's, I think, in Italian, and we have a compendium here that's in Polish, and then we have the Instructia, which I suppose is rulebook. Let me just get that secure. Which is a rulebook in Polish. But actually, I think it might be Spanish, not Italian, the other one. So yeah, there's a lot of that's a lot of paper, a lot of glossy paper here, with all the different languages in. So full marks for doing that. But for whoever actually gets the game, if you know, with one particular language, the rest of it is kind of redundant. And yeah, it kind of feels a bit like, you know, like an IKEA project. You've got all the different rule books, all the different instructions. Anyway, so here's the board. There's 2 boards that sit together, and I'm going to do my completely ridiculous way of showing you this. Here we go, without trying to break the whole thing. So it's fully mounted, and I can get a little bit further away. You can see the English Channel, and if lucky, no, can't see it at the moment. There is a bit of the French coast as well. So these are the dotted lines. If you can see the white dotted lines, I think these are areas. It's quite a pretty map. And the second one is very similar. It's just next door. We have, again, let's see if we can be a bit more coherent. Yeah, this is kind of Kent area. And you can see that's France. And these circles, I think, are kind of German assembly areas. And there's Canterbury and Dover. And going on to, is it? Newchurch. So yeah, that's the board, and as you can see, there's a lot of playing area with not a lot of small hexes or anything like that. We have some counters. We have a counter sheet, and here we go. So icon based for the most part. I don't think these are actually the aircraft. The aircraft are little plastic pieces. And here, I think these are the targets. If I can zoom in, can you see? It doesn't zoom very well. Yeah, So it's just areas of the map, which I think are the targets, and that's it. That's the counter sheet. One counter sheet. You have some little cockpits here, which you can stick your pilot in, and little dials, which I haven't built yet. You can get these little dials. The dials represent what are they? Ammunition and something called spec. I'm not sure what that is. On the back, they've just got 303 Squadron on the back, but they're all the same. And so you have these little cockpits, one per player, I think. There's a lot of stuff in here. What have we got here? We got some little cubes. Pretty standard stuff here. Some non-standard dice. So we got one yellow. Lots of blue and reds, and there's some blacks and some whites. So I'm gonna have to investigate what all that's about. But you've got, and there's a nice thumbs up on the yellow dice. So obviously doing something right. It's right about the translations. I think it is. I don't remember it being that expensive. I have to look back. To be honest, I ordered this on Kickstarter at the start of lockdown, so we're talking about, sort of April last year. I saw it and thought, oh, that's cool. Some little these are for the dials, I think, on the cockpit displays. What else have we got here? We have a 303 Squadron cube, a grey cube. Not sure what that's for, or maybe it's just a keepsake or something like that. Then we have some of the aircraft. So here we have some Heinkel 111s, I think, yeah, 111s, yeah. Quite detailed from not bad little things there. And smaller stuff here we have these are, I think these are BF 109s. Yeah, little 109 aircraft there. And of course, there's some more here. So here it looks like these are Dornier 215s, I think. Got the twin tails. I'll show them right up to the camera there. And obviously paintable, but oh, yeah, that's unlikely to happen. That's really unlikely to happen. A little baggie, black baggie for picking stuff out, chits or dice or whatever. That's there as well. These look like the stands, so you can stand up these aircraft, so they're on these stands and stand up from the board. Got some more here. What have we got here? More aircraft. Looks like JU-88s. I'm pretty sure these are JU-88s. And don't get a lot of them, but some here. And these are BF 110s, I think, 110s. Messerschmitts as well, twin tail. And there's not that many more. Here's some more Germans. So these are looks like Stukers. So maybe I'll name this one Joe. That's Stuka Joe. If he's listening, he won't care. And finally, last but not least, I suppose, you get the Hawker Hurricanes. So this is the 303 Squadron planes. So we haven't finished yet. We have, these are the bases that these stick in to these bases, and then you stick the plane on top. Let's see if I can. Shall I try and construct one? So base. I'll probably end up with most of it on the floor, but let's see. It's base with the stand, and then we'll get one of the hurricanes. Yeah, get a hurricane out, stick it on, and there you go. Hawker hurricane for you. So I'll just put that back with the other hurricanes. Don't worry about the base. So there's bases, different colours. Not sure what the colours are. Maybe it's the type of plane. It helps with the type of plane as well. And then we've got the cards, and a bit like the rule books, there are different languages on the cards. So this looks like target cards. So it says airfield, and then we have the equivalent, I think, I'm not sure if it's Spanish or Italian, and then we also have the Polish as well. So these are duplicates. So you've got 3 decks of, you know, they're bigger than, not bigger than playing cards, slightly bigger than playing cards. So together, that's quite a stack where you're only using a third of it. Might get in. Let's open the English language version and see what they look like in detail. If I can get in. There's one of those little veins running through that you can. So that's and then the static just means it sticks to you. So yeah, I think these are the scenario cards. They got a different back. So yeah, hang on. Let me get that pack out. So yeah, these are I think they're the targets, or the scenario targets here. What have we got here? We've got Hunting the Hunters, Operation London, Portsmouth, Blitz, etc. And obviously icons there denoting the setup, etc. So that's those. And then also at the back of that, you have another deck, which I think is some kind of event cards here. Quite nice. Oh, now there's a third pack as well. So yeah, that's the event or situation cards. Air Supremacy. Well, we've got Jagd, Bomber, Repeat Please. Repeat Please must be the thing, because I told you about the 303 Squadron when they were non-operational. They were a training flight, and they saw some Germans and went off after. Their commanding officer was I think he was a Canadian actually. Sort of told them to get back into formation, and all he could hear back was all the Polish pilots saying repeat please, while they were diving and engaging the Germans. So that's obviously where that comes from, where repeat please comes from. And then here, these are the actual pilots. So these were real people. These are real Polish 303 Squadron pilots here. Got I'm going to murder their names. Jan Zumbach here. Josef František. I think this guy was a very famous guy, Ludwik Paskiewicz. I think he was quite an ace. So there's about, what have we got here? 9. I think there's 9 there. So that's 3 decks together. We haven't finished yet. Still haven't finished yet. That's why I thought as an unboxing, this is going to take a while, so I didn't want to unbox anything else with this. So again, I think possibly these are yes, that's definitely Polish. That's definitely Latin of some kind. So these are the British ones. So this looks like the bombers, or what you're up against as a flyer. So let's open this pack. And what have we got here? So we've got 3. Okay, these are double-sided. So these are information about the enemy. So Ju-87 here, Stuka, That's obviously Joe just up there. Is yeah, it's got toughness, dice, and bombing. So there's a black dice there. So the dice obviously have the different coloured dice have different outcomes on them. Heinkel 111. That's got 2 black dice plus 1 black dice. I think. Actually, no, they weren't Dornier 215s. They were Dornier 17s. So that was it. And of course, the Messerschmitt, the BF 109s, they have 2 reds. So obviously, the reds are a better dice on attack. What have we got now? Is that all? It's not quite all. So I'll do the small deck first. So Specializations. So fighters, heavy fighters, bombers, fighters again, heavy fighters, bomber. Oh, it just cycles through. So not quite sure what this is. These are I think it looks like extra abilities here. So pilot could earn one of these, and there's 3 levels. 1, 2, and 3, and down here, again, it's not particularly clear on the how many fighters you need to shoot down to get the fighter specialization, and of course there's a heavy fighters and bombers, which is shooting down heavy fighters and bombers. So that's what these are, and there's duplicates here. And finally, well, actually it's not finally. Finally off this deck is what look like, I'm not sure what they are, an action deck maybe. Here it's quite a lot of cards, loads of cards here, and they have icons on, and yeah, for each set of some kind of icon you get another kind of icon. There's multiples of the same, so I think there's obviously some kind of action deck anyway is there as well. But we're still not at the end. There is another deck. Now this is only a single deck, so obviously this doesn't have any language differentiation here. And I can't actually move here without all the components. I've still got the counters and the board here. I've got all the aircraft and stuff. It's just stuff's just coming out. It's like Pandora's box. This. Oh gosh, what are these then? It looks like some kind of blitz thing card here with different numbers of enemies on them. Then there's same thing with a clear blue sky, again with some enemies written on, and more of the there's just a mix again, more of these sort of blitz kind of cards, and then the odds. So not sure what those are. Maybe they kind of hits, bombing hits or not, or something like that. But anyway, there you go. That's 303 Squadron. So I might have a look at this on the channel, but I need to kind of study it first. There's lots here. I'm gonna try and put a little bit back, otherwise I'm just going to get overwhelmed with the amount of stuff here. Like these little kind of cockpit display things. There's more. I'm not going to be able to get this back into any semblance of normal order here, that it was nice and neatly packed, but just get it out of the way so we can carry on without being completely overwhelmed. There we go. Right. Good. Lots of little bits of cellophane and stuff still hanging around. Good. Where were we? So while I was doing all that, I feel like I've had a workout. What's the chat saying about this then? Yeah, I mean it is very pretty, isn't it? It's very pretty. I think there's a lot of there's a lot gone into it, and certainly with this sort of duplication on the components for the different languages. There's I've still got We've got the rule books and the compendiums to put away as well. That's not going to sit back in the box. No. Clear. Just clear now. Done. Yeah. But it looks interesting. And interesting, it's focusing on the Polish pilots as well. It gets down to individual pilots. But then you've got a board which is Kent and Sussex and London in it, so quite there's differing scales there, really, isn't there? But yeah, looks interesting. I'll have to do a bit more work on that. So what else we got? Okay, so just into, I'm not sure if I did this on the last chat, but just a counter tray system I found, which I quite like. Just wanted to show you these little. I think they're meant to be pill boxes or something like that, so you can put your pills in one per day kind of thing. But they're snapshot, pre-constructed, so they're all it's all there, and you don't have to put it together and stuff. But I have found. I'll just take my my Panzer's Last Stand box here. I've found that actually you can put 2 of these in there with still a little gap in the middle, if you see what I mean. So I think they fit quite nicely in the old bookcase game box slots. So I quite like those. I got those from Amazon. They weren't that expensive, I don't think. There was a pack of 4. You buy a pack of 4 of them. I think I got a couple of packs. I think 3 packs. I think I got. Is it solitaire? Yeah, 1 to 4. So it's solitaire or cooperative. So every player is a Polish pilot, but you can have just the one. That's what it says on the back. And yeah, so those trays. Just wanted to show you those. And the last thing to do really is to announce that there's actually going to be a Blue Tweezers Christmas party. Indeed. So on the 18th of December. Well, it won't actually be a Blue Tweezers. It will be a Rough and Blue Christmas party. So I'm actually meeting up face to face with Rough Swordsman Wargamer up in London, and we're gonna have a bit of a beer, a bit of a meal with the other halves as well. So it'll be a family-ish affair. Although we're both all codgers, so all the kids are elsewhere. But so might try and do a live stream from there, just to say Happy Christmas to everybody, and yeah, that'll be happening. I'll announce that. Should be around 3 o'clock GMT, which should be 10 o'clock in the morning on Saturday the 18th Eastern time. So something to wake up, something for you to watch over your cornflakes. You got a couple of old British guys who probably slightly half cut, as in had a little bit too much to drink, with their wives in the background being very embarrassed for them, in a pub in London, south of Blackfriars Bridge. But I'll give you the details close to the time. But that's what we're going to be doing. I don't know how it's going to go. It might just be a complete mess. But if you can tune in, it'll be appreciated. It'd be good to see. But that's it, really, for this Wargaming chat. Unless have we got anything in the chat that's come through? Mike, you want a link for the game? Let me see if I can find it, because I got it through Kickstarter. So I believe, I think it was done through GameFound. Let me look for it. Yeah, that's where the Kickstarter came through. But actually, to buy it, I don't know. I don't know if they have their own website. So, of course, when I just signed up on the Kickstarter, didn't really. Yeah, so they've got their own. It's hobbity.eu. Let me just put it in the chat. Oh, the boxes. Sorry, not the game. The boxes. Okay. Yeah, they're called. I had them yesterday. something like Ben Create or something like they're called. Give a quick look for them. Give me 30 seconds and I'll be there. Yeah, Ben Create. Yeah, let me just get the... So, let me put that in the link. Don't know if that works, but try it. And the game should be found. There's quite a few other games. It's obviously a Euro game company here. That's their website, although I can't see it on the front cover, on the front of their website. Oh yeah, I think it just went through. Yeah, it's in Polish. I wonder if there's a translation here, I don't know. There we go. Yeah, 303 Squadron, it comes up on the rolling sort of display on the front on the web page. So yeah, there you go. Cool. And yeah, Crossing says cards must be sleeved. I do have some sleeves. What I tend to do is I have a set of sleeves, and when I get a game out, I then sleeve it, and then when I get a different game out, I unsleeve that and sleeve the other one. So I kind of move the sleeves around rather than having lots and lots of sleeves. That's my solution anyway. Takes a little bit of time, but not too bad. I think partly because I just haven't got enough sleeves and haven't been able to get some more, organised enough to get some more, shall we say. But there, anyway, so you got a report from RavenCon. Had a look at 303 Squadron and some GD42 that I'm playing on my own. And what else? Do we have anything else? Just reporting from my continuing Vassal game of 4-player game of Gallipoli 1915. If I put that up, actually, just quickly. That did mean to go through it. Not a huge amount has happened, to be honest. It's quite slow going. Let's just get it on the screen. There we go. So zooming in, I'm the Australians and the Anzacs here at Anzac Cove. So we've just done hopefully you followed from the last time. The last chat I went through it. So we've got the second Australian Brigade here. These are the Reds, who have just been marching up the spine of this hill, Chinook Bear, and we just took out some Turks in these trenches here. I'll show you, take off the chessboard and the neck. But we've got some cavalry still in our way. Took quite a few casualties here. So these are two half battalions which have taken a loss each here. We've had our initial brigade here, which is the third. These are the Mauve guys here. These are the guys who initially landed, who are very beaten up. They've also haven't been able to commit their support. They're all over the place at the moment. We've had the Turks. The Turks are appearing to the south here, and also to the west. This is the 57th Regiment here. Over in this area is Kemal Ataturk's regiment. One thing that was interesting is that you'll see here this Limbard hex here. So there's you can see they're all confused, which is kind of disrupted, equivalent of disrupted here. What actually happened is they marched up this this trail. This dotted line here is a trail, and as they came into view, I actually had a battleship hanging off the coast, and I was able to bombard them, and I caused some casualties here on that one Field 9. That's an artillery unit, which I've taken a chunk out of. It's half strength now, and also confused. So that was going to be quite threatening if he could get it up, you know, Anderson Knoll, this kind of area along. There's another one here, so the Navy got in to do something. So that's the interesting. The problem is, I think I'm doing okay. Unfortunately, the British are just doing terrible here. They're still not really off the beaches, the main beaches. They've got the minor beaches sorted, but and they're threatening this artillery, which are the black fire marks, the Turkish coastal artillery. But really, they're going nowhere fast. They've had horrendous casualties. So I'm not sure, in the scheme of things, what might happen eventually is we probably call it a game, because the British are going nowhere, literally nowhere. But we'll see. Anyway, that's so I just thought I'd catch you up with the Gallipoli stuff here. Gallipoli 1915 GMT game. Interesting, but quite a heavy game in it. But there you go. Anyway, I'll end there, because I've talked enough, and you've got other things to do. So again, if I don't hear from you before Christmas, I should do, because Wednesday should have the Rough and Blue messing around at Rutherford's farm, although I wouldn't call it a farm anymore. It's probably a smouldering wreck by now. So I should see you then. But if not, if you can't make it before Christmas, I hope you have a good Christmas, and possibly even maybe see you on the live stream for the Rough and Blue Christmas party on the 18th. Remember that. But I'll be updating my Twitter and Consim World community, and also the channel, with that information when it's all confirmed. Until then, thanks very much for popping in to see us. I hope you have a great rest of the weekend and a good week ahead, and maybe see you on Wednesday for Rutherford's Farm. Till then, bye for now.